Y'all ready for this?
Alrighty. Wow, we're back. Whew. It's been a little bit of a minute here, or a couple minutes maybe. Casey, how are we?
Oh, it is fantastic. We're back. It has been since the last pick'ems I have on here is week 8.
I was going to say,
college football.
I think we were right on the heels of the Iowa State loss at Colorado, heading into that second bye week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got about a month of content to cover in about 30 minutes today.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We won't do that. But if we had a little more time, maybe we would.
Yeah.
I think we can probably err on the side of most of our audience as probably kept up on the world of sports, even without us bringing the weekly news, the weekly commentary, analysis. Yep. Hope y'all have survived without us. But it's good to be back in this studio. Going to be probably one of the last times that we are in here.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It's crazy to think about.
Yep, it is. But the pod will, of course, continue for the foreseeable future. Hopefully more consistency moving forward. But good to be back. Again, we got a time crunch today, shorter reservation for this studio. So we're just going to get rolling right away, Casey. And you know that we weren't going to miss this week, right? If there was any week for us to make our return after the 1-month hiatus, it was going to be this week. Because, of course, it's Cyclones versus Jayhawks.
It's the rundown rivalry, man.
The rundown rivalry, which Casey happens to be up 2-0 on over the last couple of years. Kansas also on a 3-game winning streak, too, but that first one doesn't count because we hadn't started this yet.
Yeah, of course.
But, yeah, we're back for it, baby. We had to be back for it. We weren't going to miss this. In what should be a game just full of mediocre vibes. I mean, these are two teams that just have had rough goes over the last month plus.
Yeah, it is a game that only the fan bases will be watching.
Mm-hmm.
No Big 12 implication really at play here. I mean, for Kansas, there's the bowl eligibility, of course, with a win this weekend. But, man, both teams strayed. I guess Kansas didn't really stray from the preseason predictions. They started off solid, and I think we thought a little bit higher of them. But Iowa State, man, just not what we thought the season would come to. Still right around, I mean, where we had them in the preseason, but need to win 2 of the next ones. In my opinion, you're favored in both of them. You shouldn't have to worry too much about the second one, but
no.
At this point, it's, I wouldn't even say salvaging the season, but there will obviously be a little bit of disappointment looking back, but you're trending in the right direction, right? Coming off a win against a good TCU team at TCU is obviously beneficial. Man, it wasn't perfect, and there was so much up and down this season, but you can still salvage it. You can go 8-4 with a winning record in the conference, and I think that is the hope for the Cyclones. On the flip side, very similar for Kansas, get bowl eligible, have a winning record in the conference. Those are the goals for both teams, sitting in very similar spots.
Yeah, it's the way it kind of played out, right? I mean, you tell us before the season Iowa State goes 8-4. Let's say even 9-4 with a bowl victory. And, it's probably going to be okay, maybe a little bit on the disappointing end. You were hoping for maybe a 9-3, 10-3 sort of season, but all things considered, I think we would have taken that. It's the way it's played out, obviously, with the 5-0 start, then the 4-game losing streak. You're right. That TCU win, which was a couple weeks ago at this point, wasn't pretty, but it was a big culture win, and you needed it in the worst way, right? And something like that hopefully was enough, even though Rocco Becht didn't play well again. Hopefully that was enough to really get his psyche back in control, because obviously he has been all over the place over the last month. It's been a tough go for him. Probably the worst stretch of his Cyclone career. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But it was good to get that one. We'll see what Iowa State comes out with after the bye. You would think maybe the vibes are a little bit rejuvenated after that win. We'll see. Kind of same thing with Kansas. Like you said, it's just kind of been a pretty, average season for them. Maybe a little bit lower than I think it's lower than I think I expected them going back, Casey, to August. I think I expected them to do better than you expected. I think you might have been a little more realistic or accurate with your prediction.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, going into this weekend, it still is a big one for both teams. It still is a rivalry, if you will, right? These two teams want to beat each other, kind of in similar spots, right, with the program. Maybe not entirely similar, but there are a lot of things that you can draw that are comparisons. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Weather looks decent on Saturday. I think it'll be a fun game. I don't expect it to be a pretty game by any means. These are two teams. Has Kansas dealt with some injuries this year too? I don't know. I mean, obviously we know what's going on with the Cyclones. Yeah,
not really, not as bad as the Cyclones.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It's just kind of spotty on and off, and not a ton of long-term injuries. It's more so like, hey, he's gonna miss a couple weeks. Then he'll be back.
I guess I just expect this to not be a very pretty football game.
Yeah,
it's not entirely going to be Big Ten West ground and pound, that sort of thing. I mean, these are two teams with good quarterbacks and a lot of talent on the offensive end, but I don't expect a 38-35 shootout sort of game. What say you?
Yeah, I kind of expect the opposite. I kind of expect this to be a shootout, high-scoring game because, the defenses for both teams haven't been otherworldly,
This is true.
And I get the offenses haven't been great either, but in the Big 12, you're more likely to get that 40-35 game than you are a 20-17, like Iowa State had last week. I think it was the advantage of playing a lower team. And at the end of the day, looking at both schedules, both defenses have been prone to give up big scores, and both teams, I would expect this to be in the 30 range. Both teams comparatively had Kansas lost to Cincinnati 37-34, Iowa State 38-30. I would expect something in that range again as well. 30-30 range, not quite in the teens, not quite in the 50s. I think it'll be a decent game. It's going to be who can capitalize on mistakes more. Both teams are going to make mistakes. It's the youth. That is just how the season has kind of ebbed and flowed. Who's going to capitalize on mistakes more is who wins this game.
I do think, I agree. I do think there's something to be said, too, about, we mentioned the 3-game win streak for Kansas, riding that momentum, that confidence for them, right? Doesn't matter what's happened with them this season, whether it be disappointing, whether it be maybe what they expected. They have won 3 in a row against the Cyclones, right? And Lance Leipold has kind of had the Clones number as of late. And that's something where, you could see that team coming out on Saturday with a lot of confidence because they have played so well in this game. That I think it's funny. That being said, and this has nothing to do with the point I was making, but it was funny today doing some prep for this pod and looking back, right? Kansas has won 3 in a row. But even with that being the case, Iowa State actually still has 2 wins over Jalen Daniels in his career, which goes to show how long he's been around.
Jeez.
2020 and 2021. So 2020 was his freshman season.
Yeah, it was.
Just unbelievable. Stadiums were
Texas.
30% capacity at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'll never forget that game. That seems like ages ago for us.
Right. We were sophomores in high school.
We're juniors in college now.
Yes, we are.
Jeez.
Life is a lot different right now than it was when Jalen Daniels was a freshman. There's been a lot that has occurred.
Some would say.
Some would say. I don't. Yeah. There's a lot of things. The U.S. penny has since gone out of circulation since Jalen Daniels was
They
a freshman.
retired the penny, dude.
Yep.
They fired it. They also fired James Franklin after starting the season preseason number 2. But he's at Virginia Tech.
Va-Tech. Yeah.
Huge hire.
You see that post on Twitter where it was like him, giving a thumbs up in Virginia Tech here at the middle of the field. It was like, imagine this happening in the middle of November back in the preseason.
And he's got the Va-Tech flag. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. They fired the penny. They fired James Franklin, but yeah, I don't know if the penny's coming back.
They haven't fired Jerome Tang yet. He's looked okay.
They still haven't fired Jerome Tang.
Haven't fired Jerome Tang for what it's worth.
This is true. Jerome Tang was not a Kansas State basketball coach back when Jalen Daniels was a freshman at Kansas, so that's been a little bit shorter. But They still have not gotten rid of that guy.
They're 4-0.
I don't know if they will. 4-0. Who've they beaten?
They have one good win. Hold on, let me pull it up. I know they have one good win, unfortunately.
Southwest Quinnipiac State University.
They lost to... That's a loss. Oh, exhibition. Whatever.
Who'd they lose in the exhibition?
Mizzou. At Mizzou.
Okay.
So they beat UNC Greensboro, Bellarmine, Cal, and Tulsa. Cal by 3, Tulsa by 1. Maybe they don't have a good win, actually. Cal's not good. Tulsa's a sleeper, but I wouldn't. They've got Mississippi State. They got them in the Hall of Fame Classic. Tonight, we will be tuned in. We'll be tuned in.
Mississippi State
fans.
Who fell at the hands of your Iowa State University Cyclones.
Mm-hmm. This is a...
see what K-State does against that team. I don't think that team's very good.
Comparison game right here.
Well,
they could still fire him.
They could. Do they want to spend that money? They're going to have to pay a really bad coach a lot of money to not be the coach of them anymore. We've always said, Casey, what are we doing sitting here on a podcast that we make no money on when we could go out and be horrible college football coaches?
I'm trying to get there, dude.
Make 200-fold, right?
Hey, I'm working my best. Okay,
I get it.
You got to act good to then be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing the long game here. Haven't won anything, but neither did James Franklin. And look at he's only getting $9 million from Penn State now, so they got out of it a little bit.
I always use Scott Frost as Exhibit A of this conversation.
Oh yeah, Jimbo
Fisher probably takes the cake at this point.
$77 million to sit at home. And then we could podcast on top of that with our $77 million.
Right. Yeah, because we don't need an actual stream of income when we got that coming in.
No.
Brian Kelly right there too, right? I mean, just horrible college football coaches that are making more than we would know what to do with.
Ed Ogeron, but he was a good coach.
He did win a national
like it.
championship.
He was one national championship. I liked him, but he's also got paid to do nothing. So.
Can you do an Ed Orgeron impersonation?
No, I don't even know where to start with an Ed Orgeron.
I don't want to try it. I feel like I'm going to embarrass myself.
I know. I feel like if you give me a month, I still couldn't pull it off.
Right. Like, how do you... It's like a really deep voice, but it's not like booming. It's just like
grovelly southern voice.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyway, we usually pick this game, right? Is this part of the picks you had for us today, or is this...
one of our 2 picks.
Okay, one of the 2. Well, should we just do it right now?
Let's pick it right now. Caleb, it's all you. Floor's yours.
Oh, man.
Wonder who's picking him.
First of all, do we know what the updated records are? I mean, we haven't potted in so long. I don't even remember what the season records are at this point.
I'm 3 games. I'm 14-19. You're 11-22.
Okay.
That's the last records I had.
Yep. It's been pretty indicative of maybe just the season for both of our teams in general at this point. Maybe our 2 teams have been better than you and I have in the picks. At least they have winning records.
Yeah.
Kansas 500. We're both sub 500. Okay. I have to go with the Clones here. You have to go with Kansas. That's how it works, right?
That's how it works.
I do feel like Iowa State gets up off the deck and finally beats the Jayhawks here. I don't know. I think they figured something out against TCU, even though it was still a pretty ugly game. I mean, it was one of those where it was like it didn't matter how it looked. It just had to happen, and it did. And it happened in the fourth quarter with a pretty inspiring comeback. I think Rocco Becht, I saw a comment from Matt Campbell yesterday online that was saying, he's progressed a lot health-wise over the last few weeks, which is encouraging. Clearly, he had something wrong, which wasn't very public. I think everyone just was able to kind of infer via watching him that he wasn't himself. I think he's more of himself this next weekend. I don't think he's perfect by any means. I don't think he's, what he was peak last year, what he was at the beginning of this year when the Clones were rolling. But I think he's good. I think my guy Trey Bell does just enough on the defensive end. I'm going to go Cyclones 26, Kansas 23.
Okay.
Few field goals. There's going to be a lot of movement of the football, but a lot of settling for field goals.
2 good field goal kickers are going to be out there. So
yes. Do not put Jace Gilbert on the field.
No. He can't. He can't go on the
He
field.
is hurt.
There's not much we can do about that. Unfortunately for Kansas, Jace Gilbert cannot suit up.
Wow.
Man, what a game that was.
Kansas still beat Iowa State with Kyle Conradi last year, too.
Yeah. We had a different kicker, though. He's at Colorado now.
Who's the Kansas kicker?
Laith Marjan.
Oh, wow.
He is in the whatever kicker, or is it Lou Groza's the kicker?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
I think he's one of the semifinalists or something for that. So he's been really good this year when he's healthy. Give me Kansas. JD6 gets it done, gets the win. You know, we don't have Jason Bean to push us forward, and I will never forget that freshman year game with the tight end pop. But they find a way, a game I wish I could go to. I think this is the first one I'm missing.
Oh, man.
Because I'll be down in Omaha for basketball. So, but rest assured, I will have that game on my phone, whether I am coaching or I am just sitting around. I will be tuned in, and I will be supporting the Hawks.
You're going to be in the middle of a timeout huddle on the sideline, just not drawing up a play because you're watching.
Because Laith Marjan has a field goal to win the game.
And I think your boys will have to understand.
36.
Most of your boys are probably Cyclone fans, right?
Most are Iowa fans, actually.
Are they really?
Yeah. A lot of Iowa fans, a few Cyclones.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Got to cheer for Mark Gronowski and Ben McCollum. Hey, by the way, that Iowa basketball team is looking decent. I got to give them credit.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Okay.
I've been tuned in. We'll say basketball has been fantastic this year.
Well, should we use that as a segue?
I think that's the perfect segue, Caleb.
I've got the Clones. You've got the Hawks. Zero surprise there. The Jayhawks, obviously, not the Hawkeyes.
The Jayhawks, not the Hawkeyes.
Yep.
They'll never win, ever.
Nope.
Except against Nebraska.
True. Okay, because it usually happens that way. Feast week, baby. Here we go. You know, it's a bummer, Casey, because our favorite time of the year is this time of the year, right? Especially in the sports. March Madness.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's probably 1A, 1B for me, to be honest. I think just with when you pair college football in the NFL right now with the start of the college basketball season, and especially this next week with the Feast Week tournaments, and the slate that we have, especially next weekend, just this next week, really, within a few days. At this point, with the Players Era tournament, both of our teams in that as well. It's such a great time of the year in the sports calendar, and it bums me out that we haven't been around for the last few weeks because crossover season is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, we when we had Chase Rue, last time we had a podcast, by the way, was
with
Chase
Rue.
Go back and listen if you haven't yet. It was great.
It was a great podcast.
Mm-hmm. It probably a little bit dated at this point, honestly, but maybe not. I think there were still a lot of
reflect on
water
our
cooler
preseason
concepts.
picks,
exactly, and talked about some hot seat stuff, coaching carousel. Yeah, I guess most of it still holds true, but we mentioned Chase's comment he made on that. I think we talked about it on that pod where he mentioned it was like some 8th grade class we were in together. We were talking about like what our favorite season of the year is. And he said winter because it's college football and college basketball, but at the same time it was like such a bar, such a bar. Yep.
Little Chase has been a ball nowhere, except he's a Nebraska fan, so that's where we draw the line.
Yeah, looking for big week next week, Casey.
Yeah, Players Era is the big one in Vegas. 18 teams, 17 of them are in Ken Palm's top 100. 11 of them are in Ken Palm's top 50. That's the big one. Full bracket, I believe, in that.
Yep.
To get it, the Victor, and I think they get a bunch of NIL money. Maui Invitational, it's always there. 8 teams, 6 in the Ken Palm top 100. It's slight down here because a lot of the big names went to go play in the Players Era. The big highlights to me, NC State, Texas, USC, Chaminade, of course, gets in every year.
Chaminade, unbelievable.
Battle for Atlantis,
Blue blood.
7 of the 8 teams are Ken Palm top 100s, headlined by St. Mary's, VCU, and Va Tech. Acrisure Classic, 20 teams, but I think they're like small pod brackets, if I remember correctly. GCU, Ole Miss, Iowa, UNI all in that one. ESPN Events Invitational is another pod bracket, 16 teams. Bradley, Dayton, BYU, Bahamar, 4-team, Texas Tech, Wake Forest, Memphis, Purdue, just some of the big ones.
So it starts tonight, right?
Some of them start tonight. Yes.
I think the Baha Mar one does start tonight, and then
Baha Mar's tonight. ESPN events might be soon too.
So in theory, you get Purdue versus Texas Tech to play tomorrow. I think that's just that 4-team tournament, right? For Baha Mar.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a huge game.
That'll be fantastic.
Those two play, which they should. They should both win those first round games.
Yeah. But no, it has been, and I think K-State's in a 4-team with Nebraska as well. I think it's K-State, Mississippi State, Nebraska, New Mexico, if I remember correctly. So Nebraska gets a tough draw against New Mexico without Donovan Dent.
And can't forget about seeing Jerome Tang in the championship.
What do you mean? He's playing for third. He's going to lose Mississippi State.
I'd still
Hail
have
State,
way too
man.
much confidence in Jerome Tang.
Way too
Hail
much
State,
confidence.
Swing your sword, Mike Leach.
But yeah,
wait, wrong sport.
Yeah. Rest in peace, the GOAT.
Yep.
This is going to be one of the best times of the year. I know as soon as my last game ends, I am just going to be glued to the couch for about 8 days straight until I got to hop in a car back up to Ames. But this is great basketball. You know, there is, like we said, for March is 1A for the college basketball season. This is 1B, you know, this, and then, you get to conference play and stuff like that, but that's all in March. But this is when you're going to see the big name out of conferences face each other. You're going to finally see teams get really tested, and it's going to be super exciting. Cannot wait to see it. We've got NFL, we've got college football, we've got NBA. Everything's kind of hitting its stride. If only the MLB free agency gets going. There's already trades going on. Orioles made one the other day. But yeah, this is like the perfect week to have a full week off of school.
Mm-hmm. It's really unbelievable. And I know we had this conversation last year on, like, overall, when you just think of the best, like, weekend of the year for sports watching, it's undeniably, the top two are undeniably first weekend of March Madness, and then, like, I don't know if you, because it's really a full week this next week, but if you go, like, Thursday through Sunday of next weekend, that's got to be number two. For me, honestly, I've debated even putting that number one. I don't think I can, because first weekend of March Madness, I should say, it belongs in its own tier. But this is really, really good stuff too, with everything, and you pair Thanksgiving with it as well. It's a wonderful time to be alive.
It is absolutely fantastic. Christmas is kind of up there as well.
Right.
Less NFL stuff, of course, but Christmas Day, NBA, that's like a solid 3 or 4.
Right.
That's right up there. But this is definitely, it's 1A, it's 1B. I've already got, starting to get in stride for that March Madness viewing at a quad box yesterday on my computer while working on some homework.
Love it.
My last homework for the week. So, but man, it is going to be a great time.
Were you watching Murray State versus College of Biblical Studies?
I was not. I had on Marquette.
I just asked because I know that's very possible for you to be watching that game.
It was possible. It was not on Hulu.
Okay.
At the St. Mary's Arkansas State game, Oklahoma State USF was up there. Omaha Concordia, Dayton Marquette. It's kind of just cycling through a bunch of different games. Villanova LaSalle was up there, of course. FGCU Sanford had a little bit of watch time on it as well. And then, of course, UConn, Arizona, and Alabama, Illinois also had to make an appearance. It's hard to stop Nate Oates' infinite point secret play. He's going to get a billion points, and just good luck. Purdue found a way by finding a random 7-footer and sticking him in the middle. So
I would love to see Alabama play Grinnell College. 3-point only Grinnell College. See what happens there.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
I need to see Alabama, Arizona.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
That'd be a good one.
It's a good NCAA tournament matchup.
Or Alabama versus Boeheim, Syracuse. Who caves in first?
Right.
Infinite point up and down versus 2-3 zone. Slow the pace.
Prime Tony Bennett, Virginia.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That team was good, man.
Yeah.
Kyle Guy. It is just...
Until they lost to...
Nate Oates cannot fathom a 2-3 zone.
No. Until Virginia lost to UMBC.
Yeah. That was the first ever.
So real quick, obviously we mentioned Players Era. Clones. Your Jayhawks in that as well. Iowa State gets to play St. John's and then Creighton again. I say again because they had that exhibition, right?
Good game.
I am amped for those two games.
Yes.
Those are going to be fun.
That is.
Who does Kansas play?
We just played Duke and UNC, which I think means we get like Arizona.
Okay.
I'll pull it up right here. We get Notre Dame, Syracuse. We get UConn coming out of it.
Okay.
So
Danny Hurley, baby.
Danny Hurley.
Wow.
They've still got NC State. This is the toughest non-con. UNC, Duke, North Dakota, Syracuse, UConn, NC State. That's before Big 12 play. Boys should be ready.
I think for Iowa State specifically, I mean, if you go 2-1, it doesn't matter which wins come where the loss is. I think that's an absolute victory.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they should all be quad ones.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So, everybody in that bracket.
Yeah.
All should be NCAA tournament teams.
Yeah, unless Creighton Creighton's struggling right now, trying to find footing. They had Iowa State's number that first half.
They did.
So
they did.
I mean, they've got that to go back on, and both teams got some film, and Hudson Greer's coming off red shirt. So
we'll see, too, with St. John's, because they just lost to somebody as well, right? Recently. I mean, I think it was a good loss, but who did they lose to? Oh, they got beat by Bama.
Yeah,
that's right.
they can't. It's hard to stop 1,000,000 points, man.
Hard to do it.
I did actually. I listened to the full St. John's Quinnipiac game on Sirius XM on my drive to work one day. It was awesome, and I guess I have to listen to the Bucknell game today.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
No,
not at all. Okay, shall we? I know we had one more game to pick. Should we do that quick?
Got one more game to pick and a couple 3-for-3s. Okay. It is USC Oregon. The only other ranked game going on. The SEC is taking its inevitable bye week this week. So,
give me Oregon. Give me Dan Lanning and the boys. They're just, I don't know, something. There's something about that Dan Lanning culture.
Yeah,
where they find a way.
It's infectious.
He finds a way to always just get something to be bulletin board material and put it in their locker room, and they just want it. They want it when that guy's at the helm. Like he does that better than most coaches do.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job of building that culture, that program, and sky's the limit. Obviously, they experienced the bad in the Indiana game this year. They haven't had it easy, but they still find a way. They grind it out every time, and being at home, having that fan base and to one of the loudest stadiums in the nation behind them, I think that gets it done. I'm going to go with Oregon as well.
Dante Moore is really, really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Second best QB in the third. I'd give you Ty Simpson and, of course, Mendoza.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, too. I think those are probably your top three, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's 3-for-3 it and get at it. Do you have a not 3-for-3 this week?
I don't have a not 3-for-3.
I do have one, because I went back. I used my time frame. I don't know if you did the same. From our very last time we podcasted.
I think I have too, I believe.
So my not 3-for-3 was the whole Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier NBA gambling scandal. That was crazy. That happened a few weeks ago at this point, but that was still more recently than the last time we podcasted, so I had to bring that up quick.
Yeah. That was crazy.
It's unbelievable.
My number 3 is kind of a combo one, to be fair.
Okay, go ahead.
Some women's basketball. I've got Bethesda University down 72-0 to Cal State Northridge, losing 92-23. You know who the coach of that team is? It's Julian Newman's dad, Jamie Newman.
Bethesda women's basketball.
Yes. And D3 women's basketball. Scranton upsetting Pitt 69-63. Yes, the ACC Pitt.
Oh, that was huge.
And then D2, Maryville upsets Mizzou 90-84 at Mizzou to start the season. So a little bit of a combo one. Women's basketball, you're going to get these big ones. And then who was LIU that had a men's basketball huge upset over someone? The Sharks.
Yes. That one that was viral online. I'm going to scroll back here, Casey, through our Twitter DMs. Usually you can find this stuff on here. Hawaii Pacific.
Yeah.
this this meme, Hawaii Pacific question mark? Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, LIU's been good this year too.
That's who you were talking about, right? The Sharks?
Yeah.
The Hawaii Pacific Sharks.
Well, there's two. So Hawaii Pacific got a huge upset over Boise State. LIU has beat IU Indy, Air Force, and James Madison this year. So there's two. The Sharks are coming for you, man.
They are. And just in case you were wondering, Hawaii Pacific, they are in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. But they had to slap on Pacific just to make sure y'all knew they were there. Okay, my number 3. This was something that came about after the World Series. I think we
haven't pod since the World Series,
which is crazy.
Mariners. We didn't even pod at all during the World Series.
I think
our last one was right before Game 7.
I think the Chase
one was. Yeah,
but we didn't talk about it there. So obviously, Game 3 of the World Series went into 18 innings.
Yes.
Okay. Brad Paisley sang the national anthem for that game. He's sang the national anthem 4 times for World Series games. World Series Game 2 in 2017 went to 11 innings. Game 3 in 2018 went to 18 innings. Game 1 in 2014 went to 10 innings. Game 3 in 2025 went to 18 innings. Every time he's done it, game has gone to extras.
It's crazy, man.
Wild.
It's crazy.
Wild.
My number 2, Texas State QB Brad Jackson, a couple weeks ago, threw a touchdown pass while hurtling over a DN trying to sack him. Glorious.
Things you love.
Things you love to see.
My number 2, Jameis Winston's back.
Oh, yeah.
It's Winston time.
Yes.
Let's go.
Wintober. My number 1, the Hugh Freeze firing getting leaked because he had a tea time later that day at Auburn University Club that got canceled just before the news hit the public.
Wow. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. I had it in my Twitter. I was notified just before Auburn got around to saying it. So,
my number 1, we already mentioned it. It's crossover season, baby. We're back. The podcast is back. The Rundown with Caleb and Casey is back, hopefully again for the foreseeable future. We got to run. We got to get out of here. Casey, it's been a pleasure, though, to be back, my friend.
We are
always
back, and so much more coming in the future.
One of the last times we will be in this Student Innovation Center studio, but this podcast ain't going away anytime soon. We're here, baby. Thank you all for tuning in this week, and we'll catch you guys potentially next week, if not the following week.